Gnarly transition, dude. 1 out of 10. How bad was that transition? What's going on, guys? Dane here, and we're gonna change it up a little bit today. It's a super rainy, nasty day outside today, so there's can't do any car reviews. I can't film any car shows because obviously there's nothing going on, and the forecast predicts that it's gonna rain for the next forever is how long it's gonna rain, because that's what you get when you live in Houston, when you get 4 seasons in one day, and then you get rain for an eternity. So you guys get me inside the car today, which is something I don't normally do, but figure why not add a little diversity to the channel. So yeah, you guys get opinion car Dane today. So one thing I don't do very often is talk about the car scene. I don't talk about what's going on in the car scene, what's new, what's out, and my opinion. And I know my opinion doesn't matter a whole lot, but you guys are gonna hear it anyway today, so yay. First things first is this Dodge Demon. So if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Dodge unveiled at the New York Auto Show their Demon, which is their just wicked, completely track focused Challenger that we've been getting teasers about for, the last 10 weeks, more than that maybe. I don't know how long we've been getting teasers for them, but a long time they've been teasing this car. So this car has been super hyped up. So now we kind of have all the info and I can form a little bit of an opinion on it. And so first things first, I like the Demon. I like what it stands for, I like what it represents, I like what Dodge did with it, I like the mentality Dodge did it with. So actually, my favorite thing about the Demon is also my biggest gripe about Ford and Chevy, and it's the competition factor. That's probably one of my biggest beefs sometimes with these car makers is, and I'm just gonna pick on Ford and Chevy for a second. With the Mustang and the Camaro, a lot of times they spend so much time focusing on what the other person's doing that you end up making the exact same car. Now, I know the Camaro is different than the Mustang and things are better about different things, but it's always just that grab. They're always just grabbing higher and higher, essentially trying to make a better version of the same car and competing with themselves. Whereas Dodge took a totally different approach with the Demon, and that's kind of Dodge's whole business setup right now is, let's make the best car that we can. They know they're not going to compete with the Mustang. They know they're not going to compete with the Camaro as far as a all-rounded sports car. They don't try and be that. They are a muscle car. They are a point and shoot, high horsepower muscle car. And that's probably my favorite part about the Demon is Dodge didn't start the Demon project, at least I don't think they did, saying, okay, let's beat the Mustang, let's beat the Camaro, let's beat the Cobra Jet, let's beat the Copo, let's try and be in that high tier class. No, they didn't do that. They said, okay, hey, we want to build something that's stupid fast that you can buy for probably a large sum of money and take to the drag strip, get kicked out because it's not legal on a drag strip, and then just street race. So that's kind of their whole thing, and that's kind of cool. But as far as this whole NHRA thing, people freaking out, making fun of the Challenger because I guess the Demon, it's still a Challenger, making fun of the Demon because it can't go on a track because it's illegal, because it runs under 10 seconds and it needs a roll cage in it. Look, the car can go, 9.65 seconds in a quarter mile. That's awesome. But I look at that quarter mile time like I look at a 0 to 60 time. That is with a super professional driver under super awesome circumstances, and they were able to bang in a 9.65. And that's awesome. Good for them. And I'm sure somebody will be able to duplicate that. But the majority of us who aren't professional drivers won't be able to. Because let's face it, I'm sure that 9.65 was under perfect circumstances with a professional driver, with all the weight out of the car, all the seats, all the options out of the car, and on a perfect day. Whereas most people that are going to buy this car are going to put the seats in it. They're going to want the creature comforts in it, because 9 cars out of 10 probably won't ever even see a drag strip, which is fine. That's not, you know, you don't have to buy that car to, and only be a drag racer with it. But what I'm getting at is people that are giving this car and Dodge all this crap for not putting a roll cage in it. Realistically, to me, this car's not going to go under 10 seconds in a real world situation. Like I said, some people will be able to do it, and those people that are super focused on it, yes, it will happen, and that's going to be really cool. But for the large majority, I don't think it's going to break 10 seconds. So, and then as far as the roll cage goes, you know, you don't need to put it in there, because like I said, with it not being able to really go under 10 once you put a full interior in it and stuff like that, Dodge really tried to make this car a street and strip car. You know, a car that you can drive out on the street and then take it to a drag strip. And you lose that usability of a street car when you throw, you know, a ton of scaffolding in the back and need a roll cage. You kind of lose that carness, and then it kind of just becomes a race car, which they don't try and be. As far as how much it's going to cost, I don't know. I watched Riley's video, so people are guesstimating under 100 grand, which I think it needs to be under 100 grand, just for the sake of the car, because I just don't think Dodge can realistically charge over 100 grand for it. Now, I'm sure you can probably get there with options, but I think it would be unwise of Dodge to try and make this a six-figure car, because at the end of the day, it is just a fast Challenger. It's not a Viper. It's not something that's been crazy designed. I mean, yes, there's a lot of design work that went into it, but like I said, at the end of the day, it is just a fast Challenger. So for them to ask six figures for the car, I don't know. My guess is going to be 85 to 90, you know, maybe close to 100 with some options. But I think it's going to be well over $100,000 car, because dealers are going to mark them up like crazy, because dealers mark everything up like crazy these days, especially anything new that's exciting. So I mean, it's definitely going to be for people that have, you know, this much money. But for people that have this much money, you can now buy a Hellcat, which I think that is really cool. And I mean, used Hellcats have been dropping in price lately, and you know, you can pick up a Hellcat for, you know, not a lot of money anymore. I mean, still a lot of money, but not a lot of money in comparison to what they were brand new. And none of them hardly have a whole lot of miles on them. Every one I've seen, you know, has between, you know, 30,000 miles and under. So I mean, it's not a new car, but it's not a used car either. So the average Joe can buy a Hellcat now. So the next big thing is Fast and Furious is out. Family. It's all about the family. And I like it. It's a really, really good movie. You can't watch Fast and Furious these days with your car eyes, because you're going to be severely disappointed, because it's not a car movie anymore. So you kind of have to just turn your brain off and go, meh, that works. I didn't know they made 12-mile runways, but I'm glad they did for this movie. You know, and Fast and the Furious is probably one of the most important franchises out to a car guy. You know, especially if you're about my age. You know, Fast and Furious came out when I was a young kid, the first one, and it got me into cars. I mean, yes, it was a little over the top, and they said some pretty ridiculous things, but it didn't matter, because they had fast cars, and you know, they did heist type things, and it was racing, and it was cool. This is one of the most twisty movies. I mean, the movie's pretty predictable, but at the same time, it still speaks to all your emotions. I mean, there's some super sad parts, some really funny parts. I think probably my three favorite people in the movie were The Rock and Jason Statham. Their relationship was just funny. I mean, their banter back and forth and everything they said to each other. I loved when they introduced Jason Statham into this franchise, because he's one of my favorite actors. So I've always loved him being in there, and him and The Rock play a very big role together. So that was super cool. And then Tyrese, he is just super funny. So one thing I was super worried about was, you know, how are they going to do this without Paul Walker? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? How are they going to address him? And they did a really cute little, like, throw to him at the end, and that was really, really cool. But as far as the movie goes, it actually worked out really well. That it didn't feel like there was any holes in the movie. It didn't feel like you were missing somebody. I mean, now you are, and you know, Paul Walker was a huge influence in the car scene. So it is always sad not having, you know, especially, you know, Fast and Furious, which was his franchise, you know. You know, he was the star of it for forever. And so it is sad not having him in it. But that being said, they did a really, really good job without him in it. Like I said, there was no holes, there was no, okay, something's completely missing here. So that part was really cool. But Fast and Furious, we're gonna go 9 out of 10. This is a good movie. So anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. If you guys like the whole just, you know, conversation thing, talking about different car topics, you know, it'd be kind of fun to do. It'd be a different element to add to my videos, and I could really work you guys into it. You know, you guys kind of choose the topics for me to talk about that week. So let me know if you liked it, and if you did like it, what you would want to hear me talk about next week. And yeah, then I'll sit in the car and say words to this camera. But other than that, I'm out of here, and I will see you guys in the next video. So bye-bye. Oh, that's right. Quit looking at me.